Market Monday on a Tuesday. Only reason we have this video today is EA decided not to reveal the names of the game players yesterday, and I always like to have some sort of reveal for these market videos. We have Standouts Volume 3 tomorrow, although I'm a bit disappointed in not the players, but the stats of these players. Let's get into it. First up, Desmond Howard, LTD wide receiver, but only 86 speed. Just annoying because we just got an 87 speed, 86 overall receiver today in names of the game. And it's goddamn Desmond Howard, man. He's a Heisman Trophy winner. Very, very fast. He is a speedster for his archetype. It's hard to see him, be the same speed as players we saw in week 1. And he's an 87 overall LTD. I don't know if he'll be too expensive now with 86 speed, but he's an LTD. We've got Sun Train Perkins. This is a very interesting card because I believe, pretty sure, his base card was a Sam or a Will linebacker. So I'm curious if this right edge version, which is actually pretty good, 84 speed is solid for an edge rusher, if he has any decent man and zone coverage abilities. We'll have to see the full stats of that card. And then your final LTD is Peter Woods. This card is the most interesting because for some reason his base card, 85 overall base elite, has 78 speed. And this LTD has 75 speed. So why are we going down 3 speed, but we're going up 2 overalls, and it's an LTD, so he's going to be expensive? And it's just confusing to me. It's frustrating to me that no one is asking the question, why are we making a card higher overall, but slower? I don't know. Puzzles me just a little bit. And for your champions, we've got Amari Farrell, the first strong safety champion we've gotten this year. So even though he's a bit slow, he has a definite value or use right now in the game. Mekhi Hughes, 86 speed running back, solid card, but we already have a ton of running backs, but that gives you another option. Should be pretty affordable and cheap for that card. And then Ahmad Moses, free safety. The one unique thing about this card, he has 85 plus span coverage, which not a lot of safeties do have, but only 85 speed, so he's really more comparable to the D.I.C. Hopkins and Ronnie Lott. You have a lot of options at free safety. I'm in cut 26 right now. And the final card is actually pretty good, in my opinion. Trey White, 86 left edge, 84 speed. This card will probably be pretty cheap just because all edge players are, but he's pretty solid in my opinion. That is your content for tomorrow. And then content schedule, we'll go over it very briefly. Nothing is changing, but we have content every week, which is awesome. Fresh Faces was yesterday, of course. I'll show up the AJ Green. Really, really good card. 6'4", 87 speed. Really expensive, though. And then Dwight Freeney, the fastest edge player right now, I believe, in the game. We got Names of the Game Volume 3, which released today. Not too much to talk about there. Popeye Williams, Turbo Richard, Champions, few 86 overalls. Standouts, which we just went over. And then Season 1 Volume 3, that's your 88 all-season player and 87 LTD. That will be replacing the Gabe Jackas and the Hutchinson Strong Safety in packs on Thursday. Fresh Faces Volume 3, Friday. Standouts 3.5 on Saturday. Finally, ended with Alumni Volume 3 on Sunday. That is your content schedule. If you want extended coverage of the market and how I make my coins, subscribe to the Coin Bible exclusively on coinbible.gg. Link in the description. One thing I'll give EA credit for, though, is we do have content every single day of the week, and that always is good. But we're getting into that era last year, which was around Season 2, if you can remember, when we just were stringing together very underwhelming statistical content drops. The problem is, with Madden coming up, you're going to have... Don't give people a reason to ditch cut for Madden. That's all I'm saying is, just have the players... I'm not asking for the players to be faster than what we already have. I just don't want the players to be slower than cards at the same position that we already have in-game. And just to show you, by the way, that Peter Woods has 78 speed, and I was not lying, and maybe they change his stats before the card comes into the game tomorrow. Where is he? Peter Woods. Flip this card a few times in the beginning of the game, but there he is, 78 speed and 80 acceleration. Just a little bit puzzling as to why they would do that. But now let's talk about the market. There's really not that much complexion, you would say, within the cut 26 market to talk about. I think the market really is controlled and dominated by rerolls, right? In these champion level rerolls, I'll give EA credit again. These are the best thing to come into the game. They keep champion prices down, they keep LTD supply high, and they give people a reason to accumulate training, acquire training, invest in training, and then potentially reroll and get the brand new cards in the brand new LTDs. And there really is a great sub-market to buy and invest some time into. The only issue right now with rerolls is some rerolls are 85 plus and some rerolls are 86 plus. And the problem is the 85 plus rerolls have, it seems like, the best champions and the best LTDs, so they have the most upside. But if you end up pulling an 85 overall, you're going to lose for the most part 70, 80k on an individual roll. You know, if you go 3 bad rolls in a row, that adds up really, really quickly. Whereas the 86 plus names of the game, right, there are 8 name of the game champions at 86 overall. And there's only one single card that goes for above the cost of the training pack, which is the brand new wide receiver we got in the game today. Reroll costs around 160, 180k. 7 of the 8 cards are going for less than, I think, 160,000 coins right now in the market. So you're essentially, you have to either pull the wide receiver. I guess there's a little less to lose when you open this reroll, but you essentially have to pull the receiver or an LTD or an all-season player to profit off of the names of the game pack. And then alumni probably has the most potential moving forward, just because alumni are legends. They're going to be big players. The problem is there's only 2 champions right now in this pack. And Vernon Davis is great, but when there's only 2 champions in a reroll, he can't go for that much when you're probably pulling him 30 to 40% of the time. He's going for like 175, 165k, and then Tiki Barber's going for 130k. One thing actually to note when I mention this in this video, Lawrence Taylor did get an upgrade. I think it was either yesterday or today. First off, they fixed his player model, so he's not a white linebacker, you would say, in-game, but he does now get the AP to unlock Quick Jump at 6 AP, the only player in the game to get that discounted, which is cool to see. His price, the last I checked, went up a little bit. He was like 320k. Now he's still 320k. He went up to like 400k, kind of when that news was circulating across social media, but he's come back down now in price. Probably because we got a few edge players revealed tomorrow for the standouts content. But back to reroll talk. For the most part, rerolls are always going to be a gamble at any point during the year, unless you are able to buy training at a ridiculously cheap price. Best way to have fun with rerolls for me is kind of acquiring training through opening up natty packs from head-to-head seasons, and, you know, eventually getting enough training for a champion pack, opening it, and hoping you get lucky. I think the best training packs, this goes throughout the entire year, the best training packs are always going to be a brand new training pack when a new promo comes in the game, for a few reasons. One, new cards are always going to get bought the most because people want their new cards in the game. Their demand will be super high. But 2, they'll always have the overall minimum be the same level as the champion. So for example, let's come up with a promo. Let's do, we'll say Rush. Let's say there's a Rush promo in the game. 686 overalls get released on Friday. That champion reroll has to be an 86 plus. So you see what I mean? There's not going to be an opportunity there to pull a lower overall and lose 100k on an individual roll. So we're probably not going to get any new promos until Season 2. But that is definitely something to remember and think about when you see a new promo on a content schedule. That is probably when you're going to want to collect some training and either look to sell that training back on the morning of the new promo or look to roll, because that's the best time you're going to have to profit. But now actually hopping into the market, there's not that much to talk about. With content coming out every day, it's really, really difficult, and very specific cards seem to actually rebound on the market. Because, you know, we're getting standout content on Wednesday and Saturday. So normally I would say, like, hey, you can buy standouts on Wednesday and Thursday. They'll go up over the weekend as people are buying their teams. But the problem is we have standout content on Saturday. So they're getting resupplied onto the market on those days. Fresh Faces, right, is Friday and Monday. And then names of the game, for the most part, have kind of been underwhelming with their champions. Alumni hasn't been too bad. Their cards have gone up and down. But I mean, look at the name of the game cards. This card, DQ Smith, brand new, 120k. Quintrail Jamison Travis, 125k. And then finally, the third, if we can find him eventually, I think it's the left tackle. I probably missed him. Jaquarius Peak, he's going for less than 150k. And really, again, like I said, the only card that's going for a lot is this receiver. He's 250, 260k. So, investing is definitely still prevalent in Cut 26. You just have to be very, very careful with what cards you invest in, because we're getting so much content every single day that you might invest in a tight end, for example, like Gronk, and then they drop Vernon Davis the next week, or they drop a tight end a few days after and your Gronk goes down in price. So be very careful with buying, especially really expensive cards in this game, because they could drop, snap of your finger when new content comes out at that same position. And on that note of buying and being safe with buying expensive cards, when it comes to LTDs, I have a really, really simple rule when it comes to the buy time for each individual LTD. If you're buying an LTD from a promo that only has 1 drop for the release, I usually would just wait until like the 2nd or 3rd to last day. So, for example, Names of the Game drops on Tuesday. I would look to buy that Names of the Game LTD on either Sunday or Monday. As for the content drops that have 2 days a week where they get content, just simply buy them the second day that content is out. So for example, like David Bailey and Eric Singleton, they were, you would say, a buy on Monday when we got fresh faces. We got that AJ Green and Dwight Freeney. AJ Green and Dwight Freeney, they're probably going to be their cheapest this Friday when it's their second iteration of being in packs, and packs are being open for fresh faces. Of course, for Stanos, that would be on Saturday for buying the Wednesday released LTDs. It's a pretty simple rule I have for, you know, investing in the LTDs and stuff like that. But still, it's a bit scary this year with how much content is coming out and investing in certain and specific cards. And this hurts and pains me to say as a market concentrated person, but I think the best way to just naturally make coins right now, it might just be head-to-head seasons if you're a halfway decent player, of course. If you're not able to win national championships, this really is not going to apply to you. But if you do win a national championship, I would say one every 3 to 4 seasons. And especially if you can get upwards into the top 3 divisions where you're getting 3+ natty packs for a national championship one. I mean, natty packs right now are still giving out like a minimum of 50 to 60k, and you have the chance of pulling cards that go for a lot more than that. It's where I'm spending a majority of my time. Because first, I'm a pretty good player. I'm gonna win a majority of my seasons. I think we've only lost, I think, 1 season. If we can find it here. Here we are. We've won 18 natties. We're not doing too bad there, but if you're halfway decent in the game, I think your time at the current moment, the way the market is, the way the game is, and as long, it's more of the case that natty packs are going to be bad. They're eventually going to be bad. They're eventually not going to give you a lot of coins. So take advantage of them still having a lot of value right now in the game and try to win as many natties as you can. I think that's the best and consistent way to make coins right now in the game. But that's all I got for this Market Monday on a Tuesday. I'm sorry if I don't have an overload of information when it comes to the Cut 26 market. Again, it's very black and white. It's very dry. There's not too much going on that I could really discuss in detail. But that's all for this video. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.